artichoke soup. Or bisque. Shrimp is a shellfish, so bisque we can call it. It's cream-based soup. Oh my God, this is so good. Used to live right by a coffee shop that used to serve this on a regular basis. Loved it. In any event, we're going to start off with cooking down some Trinity in some butter. When that gets soft, we're going to go ahead and add in some garlic and some artichoke hearts and let the artichoke hearts just cook a little bit. And just a little bit of flour, maybe quarter cup of flour. And we're going to go ahead and add in some, I'm using chicken stock. Shrimp stock is preferred, but if you don't have shrimp stock, you can use a chicken stock. And then let that thicken up. After that, we're going to go ahead and drop in a little bit of cream and a bouquet of herbs. For that, we're using some parsley, some fresh basil, some fresh parsley, some thyme, some rosemary, and a little bit of, I forgot the other one I had. Thyme, rosemary, and oregano. There we go. Yeah, so cook all of that down, and once it gets nice and hot, right before we serve, then we're going to add in the shrimp. That's the most important part. So many people overcook seafood when they're putting it in soups and that kind of thing. You do not want to do that. So let that right before you serve it, go ahead and add in the shrimp and a little bit of green onion, and let that just kind of cook for another 5 or 6 minutes, and then it's done. So if you put the shrimp in early, it's just going to get really hard and be kind of like boogers. You don't want booger shrimp. You want nice, soft, succulent shrimp. Anyway, first things first, drop in a stick of butter. Let that melt a little bit, and then we'll drop in the Trinity. Go ahead and put the Trinity down there. Going to go ahead and season the Trinity with a little bit of Cajun seasoning, a little bit of salt, pepper, and garlic powder, and just a little bit of extra salt because the Cajun seasoning is non-salted, doesn't have salt in it. So I want to go ahead and make sure that they do have enough salt to help break down that onion. There we go. I'm just going to let that work down a little bit. And I want to get this cooked down really good before I go adding anything else. So you can let this cook for maybe, I don't know, 10 or 15 minutes. And we'll see when that's cooked down and ready for the next step. All right, the onions are nice and soft. So I'm going to drop in some artichoke hearts. Well, just a little bit of the juice, not much. A couple teaspoons worth. And work that in there. Now when the artichoke hearts just warm up, you don't need them cooked quite all the way, just up the can. Then drop in the garlic, a couple of bay leaves, just gonna work that garlic in until once the garlic gets fragrant, then we're gonna go ahead and add a little bit of flour. Just 2 or 3 tablespoons, not a whole lot of flour, just to make a quick blonde roux in there. Just 2, maybe 3 tablespoons worth of flour, not a whole lot. We're using heavy cream, so that's gonna thicken it quite nicely on its own. Add some stock and some white wine. Whatever white wine you like to drink. Personally, I like the Pinot. After a few minutes of that kind of boiling a little bit, we're going to add some heavy cream. Some cayenne pepper in there right now. A little bit of cayenne. Drop in heavy cream. We're also going to add a little bit more Cajun seasoning to this at this time. We added so much of that milk fat. We need to add. We don't want all of the heat to go just be counteracted. A little bit more salt, pepper, garlic powder, and that herb bouquet that we made. I'm going to drop this to a simmer and just let this kind of simmer really low for about 20 minutes. All right, after it's been simmering for a little bit, about 20 minutes, we've got some shrimp that we cut up along with some whole shrimp in here that's going to go into the bisque. And I have a couple of shrimp that are sauteing in the skillet as a garnish. Like I said, the big thing people do is they overcook shrimp. So once I drop this in, I'm going to let this just sit in there for about 2 minutes, and I'm going to kill the heat and let it go ahead and let the residual heat cook the rest of the shrimp the rest of the way. And that's pretty much done. So we'll just get right over there and show you plating in just a second.